How to survive in RLCraft Hardcore? Step 1. Spawn in a sea serpent's mouth and die. Step 2. Spawn on a dragon and die. Step 3. Spawn on a siren's nest and die. Step 4. Spawn somewhere else. Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new series, Season 1 of the RLCraft Survival Guide
in Hardcore.
We're going to get started right away as there is no time to waste. RLCraft is a type of game where you need the entire day, and I mean the entire day, to gather supplies and sleep before it is nighttime for too long. So first things first, collect 12 rocks. By right-clicking them, they will be used to craft cobblestone. Now, there is a quest book which has many different chapters that may help guide you on your journey, but I won't be using it too much as I may have my own way of doing things. So listen up, grab a snack, and take a seat. I will show you how to not die in RLCraft. Well, as much. So you can see here, there is a rare zombie villager. Now, I am glad we are getting this out of the way right now because it is very important. What you need to know is what the dangers are of each effect and to know how to react when you get approached by one of these individuals. Please note this down. Ghastly shoots fireballs. Rust wears and tears your gear when you attack. Vengeance, it is like thorns but your worst nightmare. 1-up heals to full HP once upon getting low. Ender teleports and can reflect damage back at you. Alchemist, like a witch. Cloaking, can go invisible. Now there are more random enchantments, but we will get to that later whenever we are approached by a new inferno mob. So what I'm doing right now is trying to outplay. Yes, I mean what I said. You seriously have to outplay every single mob you encounter during the early game of RLCraft, because if you don't, you die. So what I did is I went over to this cliff and climbed a tree to wait for the zombie to come towards me. Then I safely went back down to run past him. This simple tactic is an easy and simple way to escape some mobs in RLCraft. Now keep in mind, I am just talking about mobs that walk slow on foot. Most mobs are actually the exact opposite, that have insane speed with lasers and wings. I'll guide you later in this series on how to counter those. So now as I'm running through this forest, I am collecting more and more rocks as I'm just trying to be as efficient as possible, since most likely I will probably need more later on down the line. RLCraft generates hundreds of different structures from loot houses to evil castles, but my main goal here is to get out of this forest and try to locate a plains biome, which generates much more rich structures. So next I find gravel to collect to try and get one flint. During the early game, always look around as I am collecting things to make sure no danger is heading my way. I like to use third person a lot as it makes me feel safer. By the way, that wing flap sound, I'll tell you more about it later. So once I get flint, then I try to find a hard surface to smash it down to turn it into flint shards. Then I combine with my stick I got from the tree I used to maneuver around the zombie earlier. I created the flint knife. Now I place my knife in my other hand to right click to turn rocks into more flint shards. Very handy. That is why it's good to collect some more rocks you find during your adventure, even other types of rocks. Next up, I put my knife in my main hand. I break grass to collect plant fiber, then I combine some fiber to craft one fiber string. I use my fiber string to then craft my first flint hatchet, so I can now chop down trees. I choose to chop down a big ironwood tree, and note this, do not eat the iron berries, they are poisonous. Now keep this in mind, to pick up things in RLCraft, you have to right click or crouch down to pick them up. Now look at this, I come across an iron node, super awesome, but I do not have a pickaxe, nor the skill to mine iron ore. Now I put my logs in my offhand and use my hatchet to chop it into planks. Aiming at the floor and giving myself space makes me very efficient at this. I make a crafting table, cut planks into sticks, then I find stone, to where I can get rocks more efficiently. I make myself a stone pickaxe, collect more rocks, then I craft a stone shovel and a stone axe. Now this is when it's time to think of food and water. I kill some animals, then all of a sudden I hear a different flapping. It is a much stronger and more powerful that creates sound waves over the entire area. It is indeed a dragon. I make sure I try to avoid as much as possible while trying to discover new territory, and I run into my first structure, but it isn't anything that I can use at this time, so I just move on. I kill some more animals until I reach level 5. That is when I can choose my mastery. I go for combat because RLCraft is a world where it's infested with mobs and dungeons. So I come across a vein of coal ore that is sticking out of the cliff, so I make camp there. I mine enough stone for a few furnaces, and I dig 9 blocks of sand for making bottles. Now it is time to decide what weapon I want to make. I like to use something that is one-handed and has a good reach and damage, as it will work to my defense. There it is, a stone spear. I also want even more range, so I make myself a throwing knife. I create my weapons and make myself a shield, as it will protect me from most attacks. Now I realize my throwing weapon has more than just one use, so I figure it will do much good. Next up, I craft myself a sleeping bag, using most of the string I have so I can sleep as soon as it gets dusk. Now I go to mine the coal. Now it is super important that when I mine, I do it in an extremely safe way, because all things in nature have a chance to spawn elementals. I always try to chop trees, gather crops, and mine ore at the furthest distance possible. It can minimize the damage. I smelt down the sand to make glass so I can craft water bottles. Smelting down wood to make charcoal is going to be important for later. I go to bed. Day 2. I then cook the water bottle so it will purify the water, and it will be the early way to fill your thirst bar up. Water bottles stack up to 8, which is super handy and won't fill up your inventory as much. I now cook the food I got from the animals so it will fulfill my hunger longer. Now I go look for a birch tree to chop. It is a great way to get paper. I then combine 2 paper and 1 charcoal to craft myself charcoal filters. This will allow me to purify water a lot simpler when I craft myself a water canteen later on. Next up, I see I have a few planks left over, so I make myself a pair of ear plugs. They are a simple way to get a little locational protection in my head so I don't get headshot. Yes, you can see on the bottom right of the screen that I have hearts in different parts of my body. If the head and body drop to 0, I am dead. That is it. It can take 1 shot to the head and lose it all. There are ways to increase your HP, but it won't be for a while. So while the rest of my food is cooking, I go to chop some more trees to replenish my wood supply. I head back to camp and pack everything out to continue my adventure. I then run into another iron node. Yes, it is time to mine some iron. I begin mining. Then I head down a hill and come across a group of krakes. It is very important to be quiet around krakes. They can sense and attack you if you are sprinting. I then come across another structure, the lapis hut. I make sure I collect up to 1 stack of blocks and all the torches, as they are super valuable to when I want to build my base. I sleep the night. Day 3. I collect and do more adventuring. I all of a sudden hear another dragon and go a different direction. Then I hear another dragon and I think to myself, this is going to be it. I am in a forest and there's dragons all around me. I look out under a tree and I see a gray dragon. I am far enough away to where he won't locate me, so I just wander off and continue my adventure. I locate berry bushes, a great early source meal that gives you hunger and thirst. Then I come across a pixen. They are friendly until you are approached by 3 at once. Then they send their attack. So I just dig myself a tiny hole to eliminate it. I hear another dragon, but I carry on. I climb the top of a hill and I locate a battle tower. These are very difficult early game and mostly not worth until later. I head down the hill and locate cows. Leather is very important early on, so yeah. I get closer to the battle tower and locate a mountain biome. It is a bit colder, but overall it is a better biome to travel in, so I adventure into the mountains. I hear another flapping noise, but it isn't as strong, and I recognize it from before. It is the sound of a hippogriff. I don't feel too threatened, so I cautiously move forward. The flapping sounds get stronger and stronger. It gets to the point where I thought I was going to die. As I'm surrounded by a whole family of hippogriffs, I draw my weapon to show no fear. I continue through and locate a boss bar. It's just a boss underground, so I don't need to worry. Day 4. I locate a swamp biome. They are a bit dangerous, so I avoid for now. I follow a riverbed and find a dark roofed forest biome. I get a bit excited because most of these biomes tend to have a neighbor biome, which is the plains. I feel like I have done it. I went through a whole adventure through a dense forest, up into the mountains, down into the river, to find what I have all been looking for. I find a birch forest. I have not given up yet. I keep pushing through this next forest as I have hope ahead of me. I find some iron, I get attacked, my first battle, and I flee as a rare geonock has spawned and was chasing me with his big stone fist shaped like a hand. I take cover, but I know I can't stand down. I need to fight. I draw my pickaxe, since to break stone you must use pickaxe. I go back, I locate, and I destroy the Keppel geonock. I had a feeling, as soon as I killed my first enemy, I knew something felt right. The world opened up, and I could see nothing but a bright light, fields of grass, and the sun shining right on my face, warming my whole body up. It is what all I have been looking for, the plains biome. I venture out into the grass fields, looking for resources and villages. I come across a tiny house, but it is no house. It is a grand entrance into a deep, dark dungeon. I continue further out and locate another dragon. I find a fairy to heal my wounds and feel very much more alive. I continue on and start hunting some dinosaurs for some more leather. Mine some more iron. Then I locate a horse. There it is, my stallion, to help me travel much easier. I find my best fit, craft a saddle. Then I get my best friend. Let me know down in the comments what I should name my horse. I stopped to smelt the iron, and I craft myself my first bauble, the tool belt. I pack back up. I locate the 4-tower dungeon. It is one of the best dungeons in the entire game. I am sadly not strong enough to take down that dungeon. I come across a village or campsite with decent loot. My inventory begins to fill up, so I craft a cart to store more space and bring with me on this adventure. A crate came up to me too closely, so I make a boat and I throw him in, so I can eliminate him easily. I craft myself a light arrow quiver. I pack everything up and move on. I collect 3 skeleton skulls. I locate an abandoned house. Day 5. I continue exploring. I explore a huge generation. It's something really big in the sky, like a floating jungle or forest of some sort. I find a jungle biome, collect some melons, and find a cemetery that gives me some junk loot. I craft 2 potion rings that will later be mats for a future potion effect ring. Here's a note. All baubles have a chance to give you a good quality, like extra hearts or defense, or bad qualities. So you just have to hope you make the nice roll. I continue exploring, felt like my time was done in this plains biome. So I head past the 4 towers and head into the Taiga. Taigas can be good biomes to explore, so I go through. I don't find anything until I find a different biome. This time it is much more saturated and beautiful. It's like a meadow forest. And this biome you can find a village as well. So I go through it. I locate a village. I have done it. I go in and begin to loot it all and take everything valuable to the village. They don't actually mind, so it's okay. Okay, so now I have so much loot and I feel like a true adventurer. I have my horse, I have my cart. It's filled. It is time to find a place to live. I craft myself a backpack for more inventory space that replaces my chest armor for now. I locate a mine shaft right outside the village. I find a locked chest. There must be something good inside. I go back to my cart and craft myself some lockpicks. I attempt to open the lock, and I find an enchanted golden apple. I go into the village's hut and sleep the night. Day 6. I continue looting. I find a bounty board. I see the villagers need 8 apples. I complete it using the apples I took from their own village. I turn it in and get some nuggets and food, and I then go to the river and kill a squid. After taking the ink off my face, I collect the remaining ink sacs and craft myself a book and quill, and I combine it with my compass to make the antique atlas. Yes, a map. Something I can carry with me to track my adventures and to write any additional notes to keep track of where things are. The atlas can also help you locate biomes and villages. I find a very cool flowery biome, so I head towards there. Day 7. I ran through this meadow and I find a tower. Then I hear a dragon. My life flashes before my eyes as his fiery breath flies towards me. I dodged and managed to barely escape. Then I continue on, and I find more iron. I ride up a hill carefully with my cart, and I do something really awful. Something so silly and rough. And yeah, guys, here is the footage. I ran like a crazy man on fire, trying to get the fire out. I do, and I go back to see if I get any loot, and everything that was in the cart is gone. Then all of a sudden a dragon comes out of nowhere, sees me, and doesn't bother to kill me, as I already lost so much. It decided to spare my life, and I was super thankful. I come across a small church. I head inside and check my backpack to see what I had left. It turns out I still had all my rich resources. I was smart enough to throw all of that in my backpack, but all my wood, all my food, and all of my personal loot was gone.